Have you ever said to a
I
girl,
said that about you.
"Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it"?
But slower.
Like, give me your heart, make it real, or just forget about it.
Yeah, and then I went.
Isn't one of the most like profound songs actually Mmmbop?
No.
That has just like this amazing lyrics.
Oh, you call Badoo-Badop amazing?
You have so many relationships in this life, only one or two will last. You go through all the pain and strife, then you turn your back, and they're gone so fast.
That's Mmmbop?
That's Mmmbop. Yeah. Oh, so hold on to the ones you really care. In the end, they'll be the only ones there. And when you get old and start losing your hair, can you tell me
Why do you
who
ruin
will still
songs?
care?
Stop
Well,
ruining songs with the crap.
Well, I will not ruin this song. Were you guys aware that Mmmbop 2.0,
Doopadop.
Mmmbop a Doopadop, has come out 2.0?
When?
I saw it yesterday. Check this out. Wait for it. And this is actually legit.
It's
Hanson.
them?
This is them.
I like this. Oh no.
Instead of making a new song, they just remade Mmmbop.
Yeah. And they're actually losing their hair.
Six, 7, 8. All right, that's enough of that. So yeah, I did not know that.
That's a banger.
Yeah, I
That
like
is
that.
a summer anthem 2023.
This is Chris Hanson.
This is TJ Hushmanzada.
Chad doing Rip City Radio here.
This is Jamie Hudson,
And I need to let y'all know something. You're listening to
You're listening to
and you're listening to
It just makes
This Just Makes Sense.
Just Makes Sense.
Woo! Way better than Chris
Yeah,
Hansen.
seriously. I want to get involved in the rigging of Fat Bear Week.
In relationship to Fallout Boy.
Oh, Fallout Boy. People are...
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Oh, we got it.
cut that.
Like, someone should hire you to be a protester. For Bill's dead weight. They're not getting you off that
They
court.
look at me and I'm like, I fucking dare you.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
dare you.
I
There's
mean,
no
like,
tractor. There's nothing that can...
They gotta be forklift certified.
Oh, I can't be a Cowboys fan because of this moral high ground that you are on. Bite me. Eat me.
Bite me. Eat me. I mean, gosh.
I'm so sorry to everyone that we just did that to.
Everything I just said before that, I just made that shit up.
Small enough and dumb enough.
Small enough, dumb enough. That's what we want.
That is It Just Makes Sense. Summer anthem.
Do you guys know my secret with Hanson?
I do. Does everyone say you look like him?
Or I think it's only my friends from high school that I revealed this to drunkenly in Sun River like 12 years ago, and they've never let me forget it.
What?
Which is what?
In the Philippines, you're not surrounded by blonde people. So when you're watching TV,
no shit.
there's no, obviously everyone is, when you're watching fucking HBO, MTV, everyone looks different, and I would say now that once I moved here, it's like a lot of the people who I thought were attractive back from like watching TV, it's like kind of, as the kids would call it, mid.
Mid, yeah.
But when
50 footers.
when I was like 12, 13,
You thought a Hanson was hot.
I had a crush on one of the Hansons, thinking it was a girl.
Yeah, you did.
It was
Yeah, you did.
Taylor Hanson, the main one. And it wasn't until I moved here that it was revealed to me
That
that
it
they're
was-
all guys.
One of your first crushes was a dude.
Was
That's
a dude.
That's awesome. I
How does
love
that make you
so
feel?
much.
I mean, it bothered me
Woke.
before, but
Yeah.
it's like silver lining. I'm secure
did
with
not
my
bother you.
masculinity. Doesn't really bother me now.
Yeah.
It was the time when I
You were a
found
good
out,
dude.
when I was told, I was like, fuck,
You're
man.
like, oh no.
You were a good dude.
Yeah.
But
I went around, kissed some dudes for 2 months. Just went on a dude rage just to see who I really am.
Well, welcome to It Just Makes Sense, presented
I
by
am dipping
Bone.
these cocks in Jamocha shakes, I tell you what.
I should not put sponsor reads next to this. I really should not. I really should not be doing that.
Well, do you guys have a good Memorial Day
it
weekend?
was great.
It was
Yeah.
wonderful.
It was incredible. Just
Did you guys? Well, I guess Peter wasn't there, but Miguel, did you have fun at Jara's softball tournament?
I did. That was
Oh,
awesome.
yes.
What did you think?
Jara's a fucking beast of a softball player. She was hitting. The full game that I saw, she was responsible for like 5 fucking runs from one hit. She line drive this ball, and it was like a foot away from a fucking home run. It just landed on the other side of the fence, and bases were loaded. So they scored like 4 runs. And then
3.
she went up. Was it 3?
Yeah.
No, including her.
Well, she ended up coming in, but not on that hit.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then the next hit was a triple.
Mm-hmm.
So she was responsible for 6 runs in that one game, and they
What a
won like
beast.
20-5.
Yeah. She did very well,
Also,
and it's a good time. I
that-
think you were pleasantly surprised.
yeah, that team was like, they were playing music, just like chilling and dancing. It was, I had to ask if it was competitive because it was really relaxed and like party vibe, but it is competitive.
Yeah, they're all very good. And Miguel ran up quite the tab at the concession stand. It was impressive.
Is that right?
I think he may have tried everything on the menu,
I did.
just about.
First round was a couple dogs. Second round was like a cheeseburger and nachos. And then third round was a Gatorade and the candy bar.
Good concession stands?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty good
yeah,
concessions?
it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Dude, you had to stand in line. This shit is serious.
They play 5 games of
4.
softball. No, they played 5
She
games.
played 5 games.
5
On Saturday?
softball games.
I mean, they're quick. Like, you will see, the most surprising thing is, like, when you think, at least for me, I can't speak for everyone, but baseball and softball games are fucking boring. It's like a lot of standing around, nothing's happening. Not this league. There's fucking scoring happening on every inning. Because it's like, you're used to the fast, it's not fast pitch, it's slow pitch softball. So they toss that shit up there, and they're hitting line drives.
Yeah.
There's action, and it's like a 30, 45-minute game. And then the score is like 20-5 or 18-10.
There any comebackers like right at the pitcher?
There was one that we saw in a men's game, but he caught it.
Dang.
Yeah.
I know. Generally, guys are trying to bomb it out. So
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's fun. I enjoy watching even fast pitch softball. I think is much quicker pace than a competitive baseball game, because a lot more hits, a lot more people getting on base. But slow pitch, it's a lot of fun to watch because it's high scoring. Obviously everybody's hitting because it's so easy to hit the ball when it's coming
Right.
in.
I'm not a true baseball fan. I do not have an appreciation for a no-hitter. Like, give me fucking action.
Right.
Like, give
Yeah.
me dingers
Agreed.
and home runs and all that
Agreed.
shit.
yeah,
Agreed.
it's like when we went to the Chargers game and 88 points were scored. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Very okay with that.
That's awesome.
Um,
But yeah,
what-
shout out Jer Bear. It was a lot of fun.
We are true fucking Americans. Just no, we can't stand soccer with no scoring. Like, we want action. It's such a fucking
Yeah.
American
You
thing.
need
Like,
it.
give us scores, give us fucking points
I
and
mean,
dunks and touchdowns.
even if it was like 1-0 or whatever, that's fine. At least someone scored. At least something was decided. I know this is a very unoriginal, not hot take when it comes to soccer, but people don't listen to us for soccer. So
Yeah,
I'm sure that
I just don't like that the ties happen so often.
yeah, you
That's
can't
probably
do that.
one of my biggest complaints about soccer.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, how was that? Well, let's see. I spent $200 my whole day, and it was a 0-0 draw. But it was great because it was against this team, and it's like getting
and to
more
get
points.
So against this type of team.
You wasted a whole day, and you
Not
spent
if you
all that
enjoy the
money.
beauty of the game.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No beauty in that.
Jordan's probably pulling his hair out.
Yeah.
Listening to us say this.
No beauty in that, and also no beauty in what is happening in Kentucky.
Oh.
In which a man shot his roommate in the butt. And I will solicit your opinions on why possibly a man shot his roommate in the butt. Any ideas? His name was Clifton Williams.
He was having sex with the guy's girlfriend, and he shot him.
Too literal. Miguel.
Ate his leftovers.
Well, now that you say that, man shoots roommate in the butt over Hot Pocket.
Shooting his roommate during an argument over food. Clifton Williams faces an assault charge. According to court records, Williams was mad because the man had eaten the last Hot Pocket. It happened Saturday night at their home on Hathaway Avenue. The victim was found a few blocks away on Beecher Street. In court today, a judge set Williams' bond at $7,500.
7,500 bones.
Yeah, we're talking Kentucky. We're not going as deep as a serious issue. We're talking
$7,500. My bail was $200,000, and no guns were involved. Okay, I didn't shoot a damn soul.
Yeah. What's funny too
Kentucky, Idaho, Utah, whatever.
Yeah.
They said the
different scene.
victim was found blocks away, which is interesting. The guy
he was eating his Hot Pocket.
He was running away.
Shot
after
me in
that.
the ass. That just makes me think of training day. God damn, Jake, shot me in the ass.
Not over Hot Pockets on that one. But what if he killed the man? What if he shot him in the butt and he killed him?
Ate his
over
Hot
it?
Pocket.
Is that prime for?
First of all,
Is that grounds to shoot a friend?
you buy a box of Hot Pockets. There's 2 in there.
Yeah.
You don't touch it.
I mean,
Unless we have an understanding that we're splitting it.
that is theft of personal property.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You're defending your property.
You think that's grounds to shoot someone, huh?
Yeah, it's trespassing.
In Kentucky, I think it
Yeah,
might be.
that's true. There's not like Hot Pockets. There's only a limited supply that you get on that.
But the legal team is going to be like, this is his source of energy and health. It's not just Hot Pockets. This is his livelihood.
Exactly. Yeah. Self-defense.
I will count grains of rice. Don't you dare.
Grains o' rice. So, what have you considered shooting your friend over?
Food.
Yeah, primarily food.
I mean, how many times, as laid back as I am, how many times have you seen me really angry?
When Jordan ate your food.
Yeah,
When
when
Jordan
people-
took a bite out of my Reuben,
Yeah, and you told
I
him not to.
almost fucking killed him.
That's true.
Because he did it in a disrespectful way. I don't mind sharing food if you need it, but he was taunting me.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just grabbed it and took a bite, and I went fucking red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really recall a time where I felt that either of you were really mad at me.
No.
And vice versa.
I bottle it in.
Actually, maybe there was some moments during fantasy football when I was really mad at both of you.
Yeah, that's true. I
didn't. It was mostly him.
More probably just at a high point of annoyance.
Yeah,
Not really
perpetuated by.
I was very, very annoyed.
That makes sense.
Definitely wasn't towards me because I didn't do anything. I was just watching it. I was an innocent bystander.
Yeah, of course.
Right,
As you are
not
usually.
throwing fuel on the fire. Well, we weren't shooting each other over all the food that we had this weekend. We had more than enough food to go around.
It was a spread.
Yeah, that was a great barbecue. We got together on Monday, yesterday. Peter hosted, did a great job with all the food.
Grill Master Braxton.
I just watched. Watched and flipped.
Watched and flipped. Let's see. We had how many different types of protein? Pork. So we had ribs, brats, hot dogs, chicken, shrimp. And then we went mac and cheese, roasted vegetables. For appetizers, jalapeno poppers. Never had a better jalapeno popper in my entire life.
It was a good round. Good round.
Incredible. Shout out Meat Church.
Yeah. Great seasonings.
2 different types of chicken. We had chicken wings and the barbecue chicken.
Yeah, it was very good. Very good.
It was great.
Death by chicken bone would be a pretty bad way to die, don't you think? Or would that be like really poetic in your way?
I feel like that would take a long time.
Yeah. I feel like that's
Bad way
also
to get
happened,
you.
and I'm still here. So that's
Yeah.
I've actually already
that's not taking me down.
overcome that obstacle.
There are certainly bad ways to die. I mean, like the common ones, burning alive and drowning.
Drowning is my worst fear.
I would not like to do that. That would be really unfortunate. Buried alive, that one's type of
that's like
anxiety filled.
up there.
Yeah, because you got time to think about it.
Yeah.
Until you're just donezo.
What about those fear factor things where they put you in like a box filled with like rats?
Oof. They're just nipping at you.
Yeah.
Something that happened in, let's see, where did this happen? In Cambodia over the weekend. Not rats, a little bit bigger than that. Crocodiles. A man was killed by 40 crocodiles that, quote, pounced on him after he fell into an enclosure. So this was from CBS News, and when you hear about these types of things, you just get, like, surface-level stories or whatever. Usually the headline is the most, like, riveting grab or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I was looking at Yahoo. I clicked on it or whatever. The detail within this story was incredible. So I'm going to read it to you. About 40 crocodiles killed a Cambodian man on Friday after he fell into an enclosure of the family's reptile farm. Luan Nam was trying to move a crocodile out of a cage where it had laid eggs when it grabbed the stick he was wielding as a goad and pulled him in. The main group of reptiles then set about him, tearing his body limb to limb, pieces to pieces, and leaving the concrete enclosure at the farm awash with his blood. Again, this is CBS News.
Is there a video of this?
There's not video of this. Apologies. While he was chasing a crocodile out of the cage, the crocodiles attacked him with the stick he was wielding. Then the crocodiles pounced him and attacked him and killed him, and killed him dead. One of the man's arms was bitten off and swallowed by the crocodiles, police said. He was terrifying. The president of the local Crocodiles Farmers Association. And
the PCFA?
the one and only.
PCFA was involved?
The one and only.
Dude.
I just could not believe the level of detail and intricacy that this
That's a lot.
There is probably some intern staff writers just fresh out of college who's just like, you know what, I'm going in on this story.
Do you think when you get your limbs torn apart, you stay alive?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, until you bleed out. You probably pass out.
You might go unconscious due to shock.
Get that a little bit closer.
Sorry.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something like that, like just getting one limb ripped off, because I think even if you went unconscious due to shock, it wouldn't bleed out quick enough for you to stay unconscious. I think you would come back and you would still have the time to realize what's going on, feel all the pain of it, and slowly drift slowly into darkness.
So, wow.
As one would say.
as the story goes.
Would that
awash with his blood?
Where would that be ranked with like buried alive, drowning, and burning alive?
I think burning alive, that's more of a shock thing, because when you're in a fire, at some point your nerves are burned.
Yeah, and it's taking all the oxygen, right?
Yes, so you're gonna suffocate long.
You think
before
you'd die
you
quicker
burn
burning
to death.
alive than drowning?
Yeah, you would. I would imagine because the method of death is the same. It's asphyxiation or lack of oxygen. The way you're losing that oxygen, one is with smoke and one is with water. So I think that it would be pretty similar in time.
Yeah, the time to like having the time to think about it, or like the actual agony part. So I used to be like the cliche drown, but like the stuff that takes a little bit longer for you to die. I don't want that anymore.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not about that.
like, have you guys seen 127 Hours?
No, but I know the concept. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, he gets stuck in a cave, and there's basically, he's in this very skinny cave, and a rock falls and traps his arm against the wall. And nobody knows he's there. He's out in the middle of this big national, what is it called? National park. It's in Utah. And the story is that he cut off his own arm and was able to get out alive. But I mean, a lot of people, including myself, I don't know if I would be able to cut off my own arm. That's a lot to ask, especially all he had was like a Swiss Army knife that was dull and rusty.
But you would think at some point while it was trapped there, that arm is numb. You'll feel pain later probably because at that point your adrenaline plus the fact that your arm is numb, it's easier to cut it off. Especially if you've convinced yourself or that is the only way you're going to survive.
Yeah. Even if it's numb, once you cut through like your nerves, that's like a whole. It doesn't matter if you're numb or not. We're to the source here, but my point is like that would be such a terrible way to go. Is just be in such discomfort, and you're just gonna like starve or be so dehydrated that you just slowly die.
Something
that would be terrible.
That gives me like so much anxiety seeing it are people who are like crawling through caves. Like just those like tiny enclosures, or like they're in like a river, and then there's like this tiny little like underwater rock area in which they just like tuck their body in and then come out the other side and go like, oh God.
Fuck that.
I cannot stand that.
Yes. I'm starting to realize that my claustrophobia is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like I've always not liked small spaces. But the more and more I think about it, it's so terrifying to me.
I don't know why I don't know if it's like calling it just anxiety, but my tolerance in like watching movies or just like any type of video or whatever, I don't have as good a tolerance. Stuff happens in like gory movies or like super tense situations, and before you just be able to watch right through it. Now it's just a little too like, I don't know. It sinks in a little bit more.
I don't like those videos of people. It's kind of like that where you go into small spaces, but they would crack through the frozen ice. And they would go
under the
ice, but they didn't crack another opening. So it's like they're just gonna punch through. I'm like, what if you can't
punch through?
But they do. Like I've seen a few of those videos where I'm like, you're just swimming in fucking ice water, hoping that you're gonna go like 20 feet and then punch through and get out. I'm like, that would drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah. Well, even still, if there was just like, if you had the intention of going back to the original hole, like you're going to lose sight of that. Everything's going to blend in with itself.
Yeah,
there's no way that you're going to be. Yeah. We need to stop talking about this. This is getting all kinds of. Well, anyways, RIP to the guy eaten by 40 crocodiles. So.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Bad ways to die. Also, bad accents were a topic over the weekend.
I wouldn't know about that.
Charles Barkley was tasked with attempting to do his own Boston accent. Afterwards, we'll have you guys try what good old
khakis and the khakis.
Good old Charles Barkley was asked to do.
I put my khakis in the khakis.
Here's Mr. Barkley.
I saw Annie at Fenway Park eating chowder on top of the monster.
No, not at all.
Try it one more time, Chuck.
Yeah.
I saw Annie at Fenway Park eating chowder on top of the monster.
Yo, why y'all doing this to this guy, man?
Come on, man. That's
What's his name,
That was a
Chuck?
hard one. Annie.
The word you really had trouble with was my name.
Annie.
Is that how you say my name in Boston?
I saw Annie eating at Fenway Park eating chowder on top of the monster.
Let's hear a real Bostonian say it.
I gotta hear this.
Saw Ernie at Fenway Park eating chowder on top of the monster.
That sounds just like me.
All right. Braxton, your turn.
I saw Ernie on top of the monster eating chowder. That's what I got.
That's all you got.
I saw Ernie on eating chowder on top of the Mazda
Saw Ernie
with his car keys and the car keys.
in his khakis.
I saw Ernie
From Boston.
Boston and the Easy and the Mazda and the chowder. Ernie.
What was that commercial? That you can't park there.
Oh yeah.
The
It was like the
it's a Mini Cooper.
or Kia or something.
Let me see if I can pull that up.
You can't park there.
The Smart Pack.
The Smart Pack.
He's got smart back.
Oh, look at this guy. Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
He's not getting that car in there.
No, sir.
Look at these two troublemakers.
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Wicked car. Is that new?
Yeah, it's a Sonata. Let me pack it.
Oh, you're not fitting your car in there.
Chris, stop being a smarty pants, all right? Look who's got Smart Pack.
Smart pack?
Just hit the clicker, car packs itself.
It's smart.
It's wicked smart. And I can pack it anywhere.
How about Dorchester?
Packed it.
Foxborough.
Packed it.
The Garden?
Packed it.
Saugus?
Packed it.
Swampscott?
Revere?
The Harbor?
Are you kidding me? I packed it.
The
and then
Harbor?
unpacked it.
You unpacked it?
Kid.
Game changer.
That Sonata ain't got no driver.
That's all right. He's got smart pack.
Hey, you can back there.
He's got Smart pack!
Hey, whoa, it's Big Pop.
Wicked smart.
This is a ghost car.
It's a ghost cat.
This is a ghost cat.
It's a good pull. Smart Pack.
This is a ghost cat.
I remember when that played during the Super Bowl like 2 years ago.
Incredible.
For the next 3 months, we could not. Smart back.
The Smart Pack.
You can't park there.
and
Where's
now-
the ghost cat?
Packed it.
Swampscott? The Garden?
How did they not cast Ben Affleck in that one?
It's almost too cliche. Don't you think?
Ben Affleck.
Oh, speaking of which, I watched Air.
Oh, you did? You enjoyed
Great
it?
fucking movie.
It's a great movie. I also watched The New White Men Can't Jump. Did we talk about this?
You said it was
Not
horrible.
on here, but you
Yeah,
mentioned it.
It wasn't great. It wasn't
And
great.
you said not because of
and Jack Harlow
Jack
really wasn't
Harlow.
the problem. He did an okay job.
The other guy's no Wesley Snipes.
No, he's not. He was good too. It was just kind of like it just wasn't the same.
Did
movie.
they use the same names? Was it Sandy? Was Wesley Snipes
like
Sandy?
all the same people.
No.
Oh. But Air, I don't know if you nerd out on shoes the way I do, but that speech he gave Michael Jordan, that gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I've yet to see it, so now I need to.
It's
I've got the
pretty good.
FOMO, so I'll watch it
It's pretty
myself.
good.
Turn that video off. What the fuck you doing, Sonny? What are you doing?
It was a intense speech. Great job, Matt Damon.
That speech, I've been watching it on YouTube like
Just
once
over
a day.
and over again.
Yeah.
Nice. We will stay in Boston with Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
How disappointing.
A big old fuddy-duddy.
How disappointing.
A big old turd.
Let me just be clear. It's not disappointing because I don't give a fuck about Boston. I don't like the Celtics. But the fact that it was a blowout, I had a bet against Miami, and I liked Tatum. But he didn't fucking show up.
Well, yeah, I mean, he ends up getting hurt in the first minute of the game. Like, I mean, he stayed in, so, I mean, if he was good enough to stay in, then he might as well.
Listen, all these players today doing their whole bit of the Mamba mentality of getting mentored by Kobe Bryant, you can't just be showing these, like, workouts or providing these quotes like you heard it or you learned from Kobe. You gotta fucking play like
you gotta
him.
back it up.
Yeah.
Kobe played with a fucking broken finger, with a shattered shoulder. He didn't give a fuck. Like Tatum
busted Achilles and he's shooting free throws.
Yeah,
and
like
walking off on
you really got to
power.
take that on, man. Game 7.
Well, the Miami Heat took on 3 extra people in Scott Foster, Tony Brothers, and John Goebel as the referees. Going into, there was a lot of attention on that because apparently the Heat this season were I don't know if it was. I don't know where the 2-43 comes from, like what the timeline is, if it's playoff record or if it was like this regular season or whatever. 2-43 with Scott Foster, Tony Brothers, or John Goebel as the referee. So all 3 of them were on that crew. So everyone was like, oh, the fix is in. Scott Foster and Tony Brothers have come in to clean up and make sure that Boston wins.
This entire playoff series, all the tinfoil script people have been
proven wrong.
Yeah.
Every
and
single time.
You know what's funny is now they're saying, oh, the NBA knew that we were picking up on them, so they went the opposite way.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure that the casinos got their money back or something like that. It was, you're talking about like best case scenario as a fan. It's a holiday. Everyone's together. We're barbecuing. Game 7 comes on. It's an early-ish game, and it was quite disappointing. The way that we got to Game 7 was incredible. I mean, we were all together watching that Game 6, and to see Derek White do that put back, it was one of the craziest finishes that I've ever seen.
Yeah, especially on that type of a stage. That's crazy. Because everybody and their mother thought it was done as soon as that 3 was missed. To have the presence of mind to be there to tip it back in. It was.
I mean, the script was written out for the Celtics.
Yeah.
It's like every Boston team has experienced something like this with the Red Sox and, was it the Bruins?
Yeah.
It's like making history. It's like now you have an opportunity. You're not going to lose in Game 7, and everyone just rode with them like this is a fucking movie. They're going to pull it off.
It did seem like it was put on a platter for the Celtics to create history, to come back home Game 7 after going down, 3-0 and making this amazing comeback. It did seem like so just like ready for the taking.
Yeah. I mean, it was they went 7 games every series. Gosh, it took them so much time to get rid of Atlanta, and then obviously the 7 games against the 76ers. Just kind of run out of gas, I guess. But I guess like Game 7, your home court, and to get blown out in the way that they did. It's interesting when you see the Boston Celtics. The Celtics coming into this season were plus 550 to win it all. That was the presumptive favorite. This is the second or third year in a row in which they have been favored to win the championship and not. Now, since 2003, they have been favored 8 times to win the championship and come up with a goose egg. That is the most straight-up losses as a favorite in this millennium, essentially. Also interesting of note that both Boston teams, the Bruins and the Celtics, eliminated in Game 7s to the lowest seed in their respective sports playoffs. So,
it's
all kinds of fun facts there.
One silver lining, though, is, I mean, if people, no matter how people feel about him, it's like, yeah, he didn't perform, but Tatum has been the 3. Yes, they've been favored. They haven't won. But he's been the 3 Eastern Conference Finals in a row. And you have to remember how fucking young he is.
Yeah.
It's like, the dude's only like 24, 25. And he's been to 3 of them already. Like, things are looking up for him, pending what's going to happen with his team.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like interesting when it comes to what is going to happen with the Celtics. Because obviously you're on the verge of going to the finals. You've been there before. You've had the same core. And similarly, when you go, now it comes the talk, Do you do it again with the same core, or do you blow it up and try and see what you can get?
Well, what would be the max contract for Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown's max contract on a supermax, $290 million.
Yeah, they're not paying that.
There's just no way.
They're not paying that because if you're the organization,
for a number 2, not even like a 1A at this point.
Well, you saw the Blazers do it.
Yeah,
the Blazers did it with CJ. I would argue Jaylen Brown's better than CJ.
But CJ wasn't on a supermax. CJ just got a couple $100 million deals. He was never on he was never eligible for supermax money like Jaylen Brown.
Regardless, the money that CJ got, I don't think was
way
deserved.
too much, right? But you're talking about
skill.
like double essentially of what CJ would get at this point.
I just don't think they would give that to Brown. I mean, they had the roster surrounding the 2 superstars. I think they let him go. They have to. They're not gonna pick Brown.
Yeah.
Over Tatum is gonna be their guy, and then they surround him with more players. It's not gonna. They're not paying that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they have to do something, right? I think that they've been to, like you said, a couple of Eastern Conference Finals in a row now. They can't get over that hump. They need to make a change, but I think making a drastic change, like. I don't know, getting rid of everyone and kind of restarting, or getting rid of a coach, who knows. I think that's a little bit too much because I think you're so close. Maybe let's not spend all this money on this guy and try to get somebody who's, or 2 guys that can kind of fill in that gap. But if I'm the Celtics, I'm trying to keep this kind of unit together as much as possible.
I think they just need a big. They need a big that's better than Robert Williams and Al Horford.
Robert Williams, though, had some big games.
Yeah, but he's not the guy that you would ride to the championship with. Let's say the Celtics won Game 7. They would have been eaten alive by Denver.
You think?
Who would have been guarding Jokic? Fucking Grant Williams? He would have killed everyone they put against them.
Yeah.
Yes.
See.
So right now, Jaylen Brown is on that CJ deal, the 4-year, $100-ish million. He has 1 year left on that.
This is what a great time for Boston to let him go and receive a bunch of shit for Jaylen Brown.
He is a perfect trade asset. He's going to command around $20 or $31 million next year.
It's the best year he's had. This is the perfect time to let him go. If you're gonna ride with Tatum, let Brown go. And get a bunch of picks, get a bunch of free agents, whoever you can get to surround him with.
So right now, the Celtics next year have Tatum under contract, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford for 10, Malcolm Brogdon for 22.5, Marcus Smart for 18.5, Derek White for 18.5, Robert Williams for 11.5. Then you've got some player options, some team options with like Grant Williams and Danilo Gallinari. So your core is still there. So which begs the question, if Jaylen Brown is your main trade asset, which, looking up and down on this, he's that classic 1 year left, a lot of money. If you're the Blazers, do you make a deal that includes the number 3 pick for Jaylen Brown?
Who else do you think they would have to give up?
You would probably have to give up you would probably have to give up Nurk and Ant. Or Ant. You'd have to balance the money somehow.
I think,
and Anthony's money balance.
If I was Portland, I would do that.
Jaylen Brown for the number 3 and Ant. Or maybe a little bit more.
Well, you also have to think who you could possibly get for the number 3 pick. It's either going to be Brandon Miller from Alabama or Scoot Henderson from Ignite, from the G League, whatever.
Right.
You're going to take those 2, and you look at the ceiling of a Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson, it's probably fucking Jaylen Brown at his peak. I don't think we've seen the best of Jaylen Brown yet because he has played behind Tatum. But you saw his best year ever. I would absolutely... Nurk's stint in Portland is done.
Yeah, I think if you can get rid of the number 3 and Nurk and somehow keep Ant with Jaylen Brown, that would be obviously ideal.
And have Ant be a $100 million bench player, though?
No, you'd have to give up Anthony Simons.
Yeah.
That's just kind of...
There's no way you're keeping him. The only people the Blazers should care about keeping, and this is unless they make if we're talking about a decision to not blow it up yet, would be Dame and Shaedon Sharpe. Keep those two. Everyone else is movable. And you can get Jaylen Brown to play with Dame. They don't play the same position. And they both are going to start caring more about, okay, whoever needs to take a back seat for us to fucking move further in the playoffs. I think it's a good move.
And I feel like we've said this a million times, but it would be so fun to see Portland with just like a dominant, confident big man.
There's not a lot available.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown would be a good pick.
I am very intrigued though to see what they do with this third pick, because I do feel that the smartest decision is to trade it and get value now.
I'm trying to do this trade machine type of a thing, and I'm not, because like I'm not seeing the picks on here. It would be, I don't think that you would move Nurk. I think that it would go, because Ant is commanding 22, a little over 22 this next year. Jaylen Brown is at 28, but he'll have 31. And then the value of like a number 3 pick, I think, would boost that up to nearly match that money.
The question is, would Jaylen Brown want to come to Portland?
The concern is like how, like, could it come in the form of like a sign-in trade? Because like you're not giving up the number 3 overall pick for the guarantee of 1 year of Jaylen Brown. You can't make that deal without long-term assurances. But when could you potentially do this? And I don't know. There's a bunch of basketball nerds out there who know the answer to this. And,
but if you're Jaylen Brown, would you want to come to Portland? Basically, they're going to say, okay, you're going to get out from Tatum's shadows. Now you're going to be behind Dame.
I don't know if Jaylen Brown has that type of a pull. Does he? Am I underestimating like the value of like the weight of what Jaylen Brown says? This is where I want to go. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
just tell him where he's going to.
And I don't think that Portland is like a terrible place. I don't think that it's viewed as like, oh, I really don't want to go there.
I'm not talking about the city or the organization. I'm talking about him playing behind another star.
But I think that if he were to come, that why wouldn't they put him at a 2 position? Like, why couldn't they have both of them play?
I'm not saying he'll sit on the bench. I'm saying he is going to go to a team where he's not the focal point. 1.
Yeah. But I think that he's at a point in his career where he should be okay with that. Especially, I think, to play with a guy like Dame. Like, I don't know.
Right. I mean, it kind of goes back to the whole, like, folding into a system or whatever, right, with the Clay, Steph type of a...
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious in the NBA that you need to have your 2 or 3 guys, you know, and if you don't learn how to, like, share and be nice a little bit, you're not going to win championships. You're not going to get to the playoffs. So I think that, you know, I would understand if there already was the 3 guys in a place like Portland and it was like, oh, where do I fit in? But it's very clear that he could come in, be a number 2 guy, be a star of the team, star of the city, and really have a positive influence.
I think that it is kind of just a mindset type of a thing. Do you want to be the number 1 or do you want to be like a complementary side? So I think you have to kind of make that decision. What has been decision made, and you know, we talk about like whether or not I don't think that the Celtics are going to be in a position to blow anything up. They have way too many assets right now tied in.
Yeah,
I think
why should you? I mean, they've made it far. They've just come up short.
Who knows if Brad Stevens can pull a Danny Ainge and just like fleece someone for a bunch of picks? You would think that maybe, well, it's like once you get out of like the top 3 or even top 5, are you thinking that you're going to get potentially a generational type player in this draft? It is very top heavy, this draft is. So I mean, like you could think, oh, could the Celtics try and obtain some of the picks that of Oklahoma City or something of that nature? But I mean, Oklahoma City's lottery pick is like towards the end of the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. So what would be the point there? So Celtics, my guess is that they keep everything status quo. What will potentially not be status quo or has a lot more uncertainty now is the departure of Bob Myers from the Golden State Warriors. He steps down.
You kind of called this last week, I think.
Yeah, I thought that, like, you know, I think that it was becoming too much of that he was too invested in it. and that there's like someone else who needs to be able to make those decisions.
He didn't want to. I don't think he wanted to blow the team up.
Yeah, I don't think
he didn't want to be the guy who wanted to blow the team up.
And he wasn't
created.
Forced out. I think
he just made the right decision for him to be able to continue on and have a positive career where he left at the perfect time. In my opinion,
he left at a really good time too. At the fact that the Warriors enter kind of a uncertain time with their current contracts as well. The new CBA is going to kick in. They've got all of these guys when it comes to guys that they're locked under the salary cap. I mean, you've got Steph, Clay, Draymond. You've got Draymond, who's got his player option at 27. Clay is on the final year of his deal with 43. Each are going to be seeking a big multi-year extension after this. And you're staring down the barrel of like $500 million in salary. And I think that Bob Myers, in a way, was like, oh, gosh, like, I don't know if I can manipulate this without having to make those tough decisions. I'm going to remove myself from it, allow someone else to do that.
Quitter.
Apparently, Joe Lacob's son, Kurt or something, is going to play a more prominent role. Mike Dunleavy Jr. is going to be part of this new decision-making as well.
Can you imagine, like, in work in general, where you could come into a job, you take on this new higher position, you basically turn this company, make it the most money it's ever made, and you see that we're about to start like losing money,
and then
not
you bail,
well, and you have the foresight to go, you know what, I'm gonna hand this off. I've done what I can do.
Yep.
And I'm going to leave you guys with all the best memory of me.
He is Jerry Seinfeld.
Exactly. and I'm going to just walk off into the darkness. And then just enough time is going to pass. Yep. They'll do okay this season. Mm-hmm. They'll stay afloat.
Yeah.
And then it's going to start getting ugly slowly but surely. And nobody's going to turn and point the finger on him.
No.
He's going to have the championships. He's going to be the guy that brought Steph to Golden State.
Good old Kirk Lacob, the old nepotistic thing. Oh, the owner's son ruined the whole damn thing.
Yep.
Look at him go, because, you've got...
it's a Pete Carroll USC move.
Yeah, exactly.
Bounce.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then just, see what the writing on the wall. And, again... next year, you already have almost $212 million on the books, guaranteed on the books in total through 2026-27, where Andrew Wiggins has a player option. You have $648 million already committed over the next few years.
That's too much.
It's a little too much, and I just think, like you said, go out on top. He is going to be so coveted whenever he decides to get back into it. He's been doing stuff with Peyton Manning's organization. He's got a podcast. He's everything is going right for him. So don't tarnish it. Apparently he was being offered ownership stake with the Warriors as well. They were trying hard to get him to stay.
He's probably the best manager in the fucking league.
Yeah. And I just think there's all these rumors too that Steve Kerr, when all is said and done, is going to find his way to be the successor to Greg Popovich in San Antonio whenever Pop decides to step down to be coaching Wembanyama. So all these very interesting things to kind of see, I don't know if I want to be around this in the next couple of years. So quite interesting. All rumors, all conjecture.
Bob Myers, we can speculate all we want. It might just be an emotional attachment. He just didn't want to blow up what he created.
Yeah,
he's like, someone else needs to do this. I'm just gonna walk away.
Yeah, I think so.
I saw that somebody got hired today.
Who's that?
Okay, NBA coach, the
Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse. Yes.
They replaced a doc with a nurse.
Yeah. And that nurse is going to run Embiid into the ground at 45.
Embiid is going to run Embiid to the fucking ground.
That might be true. Yeah. But it is kind of interesting to see that Doc Rivers is a finalist with Frank Vogel for the Suns job, which is hilarious.
They're just passing the same fish.
Yeah, same fish being passed around.
I think Steve Nash is the front runner for the Raptors job.
Is that right? I
Canadian, Toronto.
I'm surprised that he's not being considered for the Suns.
Nash?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Is that just a little too
I mean,
close to home?
Well, I mean, he already did
coached
stuff with
KD.
Yeah, and that did not go so well.
Yes.
Did not go so well. They were not going so well.
I don't think Steve Nash is the type of coach you would get to coach like superstars.
Yeah, he
get
needs
him
to
to
find a young team.
Yeah, get him to a team like Toronto without any prima donnas like KD or Booker or Paul. I think he's better off like building the Raptors too.
Yeah, the Bucks hired the Raptors' primary assistant Adrian Griffin, so a little bit of a, first-time head coach there. As far as I know, I don't think he was a head coach before.
Nope.
But and then there is, I don't know the name of the top of my head, but there's another assistant who's in contention for the Suns job too. So we'll see.
Adrian Griffin's a hell of a fucking basketball player. Adrian Griffin was with the Mavericks like back in the day.
Oh, sure.
His son plays for the Hawks. Who went to where?
Duke.
To Duke.
AJ
Griffin.
Congratulations to your Blue Dew Devils.
To losing in lacrosse today?
No, they won. They won the national championship, didn't they?
No, I thought they lost to Notre Dame.
No, they beat them. I'm pretty sure like yesterday they beat them.
Oh, really?
We only had a way to check.
Let's see. Duke
Who
lacrosse.
cares? It's lacrosse.
So that's funny that you actually knew what I was talking about, though.
What do you mean?
Notre Dame top Duke. You're right.
Yeah, Notre Dame won.
Congratulations on
you should
being
tell,
the bridesmaid, never the bride.
You should tell your landscapers about our podcast. We talk lacrosse.
Yes.
There you go. 25 seconds, guys.
Yeah. The Gen Z Reese and Boone. The dynamic duo.
Reese and Boone.
Reese and Boone.
Boy, howdy.
Boy.
They're not from the South, I don't think.
I know.
Just went that
I
way.
think they're from Tigard.
They're TikTok teens.
Ooh, yeah. Do they do?
I didn't go through their phone, so I don't know.
Do they do like a little? Come join me on this
Are they in
landscaping
in the
business?
grass?
They do a dance in my backyard.
Yeah,
like,
just
you motherfucker. No.
Just tell them you get 10% of revenue.
Are they thirst traps? What are they? Never mind.
Are you asking if they're hot?
Yeah. I did kind of just ask that, didn't I?
You're about to have them over, so now I'm kind of worried.
I know.
I know. Hopefully they don't hear that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
You're about to ruin my relationship with you. Every 2 weeks, they're taking care of my yard.
Yeah, you've said nothing but good things about them. I'm just
deal.
asking questions.
Yeah, exactly. So
Can I be curious?
Let's see. The NBA's worst nightmare is happening right now with the NBA Finals in the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. Everyone's making a big old deal about how, the Miami Heat, they've already booked their flight to Denver. It's like, well, what else do you expect them to do? Like, they need to be prepared to go to Denver if they win. If they don't, they just go home. But you need to, like, be prepared in the case that you win. People are all up in arms about that.
Because they did it ahead of the game?
Yeah. That's the itinerary.
Like purely
scheduling.
scheduling.
It's just logistics 101. It was very silly.
That's the reason why
it's
I hedged, though.
You gotta travel with like 60 fucking people. Of course you're gonna organize that a couple weeks ahead.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, right now, what was it? I think it's Kentucky baseball. That Kentucky baseball is having to rent out their dorm rooms to these teams for a regional because all of the hotels were all booked out for a country music festival. So, yeah, you have to plan a little ahead of this so you don't get boxed out by a freaking country music festival.
This finals matchup isn't like completely plain and vanilla, though. There's a little bit of history. It was the fight. It was when Markieff Morris like elbowed Jokic in the ribs, and then he came back and like shoved him while his back was turned.
Yeah.
And didn't his brothers get involved?
Yeah, his brothers were yelling. Jimmy Buckets was yelling at Jokic. So even though Morris is gone, there's a little bit in there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun to watch. I just think that it's not high viewership basketball.
Yeah, it's not exactly what they thought it was going to be.
Lakers Celtics would have been.
Yeah.
The odds, may they ever be in the Nuggets' favor, -400 to win the NBA championship at this point.
You want some action, Braxton? We already have. Me and Peter already have.
You want some action, Braxton?
Sure. Action, Brax.
Let me hear what you got to say.
I'm asking you. I don't have anything prepared. I mean, we're even right now.
Right, and so we have the double or nothing.
Yeah.
On, and I took Denver.
You want Denver?
Do you?
I'm letting you pick. I'll take whatever you don't pick.
Let them double up on Miami.
I know. I do feel this kind of connection with Miami.
You can take them again. I'll take Denver.
But I just don't think Miami's going to win.
Then take Denver.
All right, I'll take Denver. $20.
20?
$20 dollarinos.
Air shake?
Mr. Miami, Mr. 305.
Miami.
Mr. Miami.
Bailing on Miami, huh?
Against Hammy Buckets.
I know.
Bailing on Jimmy, you fucking traitor.
It is fun cheering for Miami.
He coined or he trademarked Hammy Buckets. He's gonna make a coffee and a clothing and a energy drink line out of it apparently for Hammy Buckets, which I'm not exactly sure where.
He already has coffee. He's had the coffee for a while.
Okay, that's where I saw.
He was giving out the coffee during the bubble.
So then it was the clothing line and the energy drinks. Then
he was charging like $100 a cup.
That's right. You guys are right. I had seen that and I thought it was an additional thing.
I hope it's at least good. I hope this finals doesn't have like
6 games,
blowouts.
6 games.
Like let the games be close.
What do you guys think about the curse of holding the conference championship trophies? Jimmy Butler decided not to touch it. It's a very big thing, especially in hockey, where you never touch the conference one. Like the only trophy you touch is the Stanley Cup. Bam had offered it to him, and he's like, "I'll touch the next one."
What do you call that? Like
superstitious?
Yeah, I'm very superstitious with a lot of things. I totally understand that.
I'm just a little stitious.
You're just tiny stitious,
a wee bit,
meanie stitious.
I'm a little stitious. There's certain things, but I think with that, I don't think that would bother me.
To touch the conference championship?
I'm very ministitious. There's a way that I put on my eye paint on football games. I did it the same way every single time, and it looked the same every single time.
See, mine was different almost every single time.
No.
There was certain things like I had tape on my wrists that had the same thing every time.
I'd always want to get dressed the same way. Is that weird? It's like, okay, the socks first, and then the...
You put your socks on first?
Uh-huh. I mean, for that I did.
You're fully naked. Fully naked out of the shower.
No. I mean, like,
Boxer
for
briefs.
baseball. No. So if I was getting ready for a baseball game...
Day.
No, not
every day
if I was
life.
getting ready for a baseball game or whatever in high school, I would make sure I would put on my clothes the same way.
Yeah,
I think when you have equipment, though, it's the dressing part is just organic. It's not something I thought about. There's some things that you needed to put on first with football, with having pads and your girdle and all that shit. Like
it went on in a certain order. Yeah, there was an order
like
of operations.
In football. There's guys that would already have their pads in the pants, and I didn't like doing that. So I'd put on my pants and I would put all
the
pants
in.
And then halfway through the last season, I was like watching football. I'm like, these motherfuckers don't even look like they have knee pads. And I'm like, my knee pads just get in the way. So I just stopped wearing knee pads. I just rolled it up above my knee.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any knee pads. So I just had the hip pads and the butt pad. And then I would tape the top of my sock. That was one of my superstitions.
I imagine you being you put your pads on, then your jersey over the pad.
No, the jersey was on the pad.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I did it too. I never got how people would put their pads on.
That's so fucking hard to do.
And then stretch their jersey on over the pads. Like put it on the pads, then get in.
I've done it that way, but you needed help. It's like I'd rather just put it on the pads. And
I'm sure that there's like a lot of camaraderie and brotherhood that is created just by having to help each other put their
especially
their jerseys,
especially the big boys.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Uh-huh.
It's tough, and especially like especially the newer jerseys, they get tighter and tighter because they don't want people to be able to grab them. So it's like these offensive linemen are
You're just being vulnerable with your bros.
3-4 bills, and you've got 4 dudes around you just yanking down.
And you always have the punter or the kicker jerking you off while you're getting dressed.
Yeah, I mean
that was that was
why not?
different experience for me.
What?
There was always that like the warm up one with the neck. Did you guys do that one where you're like on all fours and you're like stretching your neck and doing that?
Yes.
It was like, come on, man. It was just
a very important stretch.
I'm
Can't be snapping necks out.
Sure, it was, but like, there's no better way of doing that. Is there any better way of doing that stretch?
The worst is when you're
naked.
Yeah, naked practice.
Yeah,
that was always awkward. The worst is when are you talking about how they had you do it with a partner?
And you're like your head is between their thighs whatever.
In high school, we stopped doing that.
You stopped doing that?
Yeah, we would use the ground and just like
yeah, because like ones that I remember is you're just on all fours and like a guy's holding the guy's helmet and just
but
you come up
like against his leg. Yeah, not a great visual.
Did you play AAU on Weinstein's team?
No.
Okay.
It was like I went to Catholic school. There was a lot of pent up stuff there.
Pent up pastor aggression.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I wonder if you guys would have any pent up aggression if you held on to this betting ticket right now. There's one bettor right now who is $250 in. He placed a $100 bet and a $150 bet on the Miami Heat to win the championship. The $150 was at plus 30,000, and the $100 bet was at the $150 was at plus 30,000. The 100 was at 35,000 plus 35,000. So currently the cash out is 8,700 and 6,800. So that would be what, like 15,000, 16,000 close. And the payout all in would be 35 plus 45. So that's $80,000.
I mean, at this point, I feel like you
let it ride.
I'd let one ride.
Let one of them ride.
And then maybe hedge the other. Because that bet, when the Heat were up 3-0 against the Celtics, the cash out was like $11,000 and $12,000. And he let it ride, so it's gone down like 5,000 each. But I don't know. I know Denver's huge favorites, but I don't think I'm going to cash out both. I think I'll cash out one.
Cash one out. Okay.
I'll cash out the biggest one because you can still say I'm a couple hundred in and I took out $7,000.
Yeah.
There is one bettor who won $12,000 when back in early April at 250 to 1 odds bet through FanDuel, a $50 that the Heat and Nuggets would face each other in the NBA Finals. So that cash is $12,000.
I'd cash out $7,000, let the other one ride, and then I would put like 3,000 on Denver to win.
Yeah, just the ultimate hedge where you're winning something.
And I'll come out in 5 digits still.
Okay. So I was going to say, like, what are our predictions here? But now that we have bet, I don't necessarily know if you guys want to go. We don't have to put it on the ledger, but just by games at this point. You think that it's just going to be like Denver walks out of there 2-0?
I think Miami takes game 1.
You do?
I think Denver might be rusty from a 9-day.
It's a lot of time they've been sitting there. A lot of time.
They will be at home, but I think
altitude.
I think Miami wins game 1.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's a 6-game series, but Miami wins game 1.
The concern for Miami is, I know that Jimmy won the Eastern Conference Player of the series, but I think that belonged to Caleb Martin. And then there's no secret. Mike Malone is better than Joe Mazzulla as a coach. Caleb Martin's not going to be able to, like, Denver will be honed in on him. He's not going to be able to go off the way he did against Boston. So now, You put it all on Jimmy. Denver is still a better defensive team. I just don't see a way. I mean, I'm treating this like the Super Bowl. I don't lose. I have bets on both. It was like, whatever.
It is kind of funny that this week, ever since like Miami won, so I guess like this week, yesterday, since Miami's won, like everyone all of a sudden is like, hey, did you guys know that like Eric Spoelstra used to be like the video guy from the Miami Heat? It's almost like people are like Eric Spoelstra came out of nowhere. Be like, listen, this guy has been to like 7 NBA finals and he's won a few of them. This is not anything new. Have you ever heard of this guy? Thought that was kind of funny. You know, it was an interesting stat. It was about Pat Riley. Do you guys see that by a coach, player, and executive, Pat Riley has been involved of 25% of all NBA finals.
Like Jesus. 19 total, right?
Yeah. Pretty wild.
He's never been part of a losing organization in any parts of his NBA career.
And he's got the look.
He's got the look.
That's just NBA. You go all the way back to Pat Riley's college career. That was Kentucky. Yeah. That was Adolph Rupp's like 11 championships. He was a part of a lot of them.
Tough name.
Adi. A little tough.
Dolphy.
A couple of news and notes before we get to our bigger topic, before we close out of here. Are we buying LeBron's retirement?
No.
Not at all. Okay, cool. So not a debate
The
there.
way that LeBron did that is the exact same reason why you hate him.
Yeah, because he was trying to detract away from the fact that he got swept.
Yeah.
He wanted people to think about different stuff, so it wasn't legacy or whatever. It was a total, like, okie doke. It was a bait and switch.
If you're indifferent about him, that's how much power he has. He made one statement.
He says, I got a lot to think about. That's all he said.
He made one statement, and no one talked about the sweep.
No one.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, there's no way.
He's not going
so
anywhere.
Calculated.
He's not going anywhere.
It was very frustrating, especially for how much he's talked about wanting to play.
Also, just if you're looking at just like the Lakers team, no one in the beginning of the season when they started 2-10 thought they were going to go as far as they did.
Right.
It was the deal of getting Rui and
Vanderbilt.
And all of a sudden, they made a run. They got rid of Westbrook. They got Russell, Vanderbilt, and Rui, and they made this run. You have to give this team a chance to have an off season and like gel together, because they could do something maybe the same, if not better, pending injury. I mean, Anthony Davis was able to stay on the floor. LeBron was able to stay on the floor as a 38-year-old, but who knows what this team can do if they get a full season together.
Yeah, they're like, will LeBron take the full season off? It's like, no, he's not. He's just not. But yeah, it was a perfect look over there type of move on his own. A couple of NFL news and notes as well. Jimmy G failing a physical in which his guaranteed contract is in jeopardy. Now, some people are thinking, hey, now with Tom Brady as a minority owner of the Raiders, would he rule out Tom coming back for a year and playing with the Raiders?
I done said it.
So I think that Jimmy G has, like, right now, he's on, like, now a conditional contract or something like that in which he has to pass a physical in order to get that contract back. But if he fails another one, then his whole contract is null and void.
I'm seeing shit that he might not play a down for the Raiders.
Yeah. Very possible.
I wonder what it is.
The guy fucking sucks anyway.
I mean, he had the foot surgery, and so he hasn't fully recovered from the foot surgery.
No, it's because he moved to Las Vegas, and he's like, this is how many women and how many parties I can go to.
Yeah.
I don't need to
He's
play
just
football.
got a bad bout of gonorrhea.
Yeah,
Sorry, man. We can't allow you in the facilities with that.
Yeah.
Got blisters on your nose, Jimmy.
Yeah. It's like we've managed to deal with COVID, but we can't figure out your
situation.
We'll call it your situation.
Or Tom put a halt on Jimmy G. He was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I don't like him.
Yeah, I know. It is kind of interesting when you think about, like, you buy a minority stake, and the guy who was going to be your successor with the Patriots. Maybe he had. I hadn't thought about that.
He has some
tin
bad
hat theory.
blood.
Yes, I hadn't thought about that.
You'd hope that
Interesting.
Tom Brady is not that petty, but
Or
who knows?
maybe
when you're that rich and you got that much money, you can
Maybe-
sprinkle a little petty anywhere you want.
Maybe his ex-wife mentioned something before how Jimmy G was attractive, and he's had his.
I'm
you
gonna
know,
buy a
he's had bad
sports
blood.
franchise just to
Maybe
cut this guy.
That's a fucking
Giselle.
power
Ooh,
move.
it would be. I had not thought about. I love it. I
Mm.
actually do love this. I love the conspiracy behind that.
Can you imagine having that much power and money that you could make a move like that? I don't want this guy to play, so I'm gonna be part owner of this team and just block him from playing.
Yeah.
That would be something.
Yeah, it's like Mark Cuban saying, you know what's the worst thing about being a billionaire? Nothing. I can just go ahead and lose a ton of money or waste all of this. But
What's this thing they say with more money, more problems? That doesn't exist.
Nah.
I disagree.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, a guy possibly sinking mo money would be DeAndre Hopkins, released by the Cardinals. Where do we think he's going to end up? With your Browns
Come to
back
Cleveland.
No,
Come on.
back with
team,
Deshaun Watson.
the team that's number one on the list right now would be a fucking dangerous combination if he's healthy.
Well, what? The Chiefs or the or
Bills?
The
The
Bills.
Bills are
I thought the
num-
Ravens were in on that too.
No, the whole Chiefs thing, someone released something that like, oh, he's breaking news, he signed with the Chiefs. Like, no, he didn't. The Bills are front runners with getting DeAndre Hopkins. And
That
him
would
and Josh
be-
Allen,
That would be fun.
if you keep Diggs, that would be, I feel like that's game over.
Yeah, that would be a
Right
lot of
now,
fun.
your odds: Bills at plus 300, Chiefs plus 400, Ravens plus 650, Jets plus 700, Patriots plus 900, the Chargers plus 1,000. Then you got the Jags, Lions, Browns at plus 2,000. So
Love those odds.
put it on them.
That's the value.
Put
the
it
value
on
play right
'em.
there.
It is.
Cowboys plus 2,500, San Francisco plus 2,500.
If the Bills get him, I would be scared of the Bills. Picking up Damian Harris, having a better running back than they've had in the last 3 years, and then they get Hopkins, that will be a scary team.
I love it.
Well, before we get out of here, something that we didn't get to last week. ESPN had a bit of a clickbaity article, which we will bite on, where they ranked the the college football's top 75 quarterbacks of the 2000s.
Oh, we will.
And there is some pretty egregious. There's some pretty egregious rankings on here. I will go ahead and I will read
Just
the
2000s.
Just the 2000s. I will go ahead and I will read the top 10. Actually, I'll start at number 10. I was going to go from number 1. Number 10, RG3 from Baylor. Number 9, Marcus Mariota from Oregon. Lamar Jackson, Louisville. Kyler Murray. Deshaun Watson at 6. Joe Burrow at 5. Tim Tebow at 4. Vince Young, number 3. Cam Newton, number 2, and number 1, the Pride Boomer Sooner, Baker Mayfield.
Number 1 is
That's
insane.
so
It's stupid.
That's incredible to me.
It is so dumb.
2 and 3 are
And
fine.
I like Baker.
2 and 3
I do
are
think
fine.
that he's should be top 10. But number 1?
Yeah. And again, the kind of the criteria, again, ranking college football's top 75 quarterbacks in the 2000s. When the first thing that comes to mind for you, obviously like Vince Young, one of the tops. Absolutely. Miguel, you had an argument for a couple of other guys.
Leinart. I think Leinart should be in top 10.
Matt Leinart on this list sits at number 17, behind or just ahead of Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, one of the best quarterbacks in college when he was playing.
The only argument that people would have against Matt Leinart is he was surrounded by talent. Every fucking guy you named, Baker was surrounded by talent. Kyler was surrounded by. These are all NFL receivers that they had. Matt Leinart, yes, he had Reggie Bush, probably the best college football player I've ever seen in my lifetime. But you can't tell me that if you plug in another quarterback for that USC team in 2003 to 2005, that they would have done the same.
I do agree that in a lot of ways, all of these quarterbacks are quote unquote irreplaceable. But I just think because the competition in this class of quarterbacks is so high, that he, of all of them, is one of the more replaceable than the others on their team. Like the effect and importance that a Cam Newton had for that Auburn team, they don't go to that championship. They don't, you know what I mean? Whereas,
but I'm not comparing Leinart to Cam or Vince Young. Cam Newton and Vince Young, to me, are separated from everyone else that you named. They're 1 and 2.
But,
you can flip them, but I would be interested to hear if you are viewing Mariota the same as you do Leinart.
do I think they're equally as good college quarterbacks?
Do you think they're easily replaceable
for their teams?
Yeah.
I think that Marcus Mariota was a unicorn at U of O.
Marcus Mariota had the same amount of talent in the Oregon teams that he was in as Matt Leinart.
But Mariota was more dynamic than Leinart in terms of his ability.
Mariota was not more dynamic than Leinart. The Oregon offense was more dynamic than USC offense. You're watching the Oregon offense with Chip Kelly, not Mariota over Leinart. The Oregon offense was exciting. It was the offense. It wasn't Mariota.
But I still would say that Mariota in that offense was more key and important and did more for the offense than
Leinart did?
Yes.
How? Explain that to me.
Because he's more mobile. The way he ran the option, I think Leinart didn't really do that kind of stuff.
So you're telling me that the difference between them two, when Leinart would throw 50, 60-yard bombs to Dwayne Jarrett and Mike Williams, is less impressive than Mariota throwing a 2-yard pass and letting DeAnthony Thomas just fucking book it.
Yeah, but he also threw, he threw dump-offs to Reggie Bush all the time. We can make that example. Mariota still
exactly. They're
still
the same.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that they're that much different. I'm saying, again, these guys are all incredible. There's very fine, thin points that are going to create differential. And I think Marcus Mariota, because he could run the ball, he was more of a weapon himself than Matt Leinart. That's the simple thing that I think would edge him out. I think they're both equally important to the game of college football.
So I guess the question is who is a better version of themselves within the system of which they play? Because you're
Mariota.
Saying,
better version of themselves. That's a different argument. It's Mariota, because I think people are blinded by the fact that Mariota, as good as he was in college, I mean, we're talking about two guys who both won the Heisman, who are both surrounded by talent. The difference is Mariota wasn't exciting. Chip Kelly's offense was the most exciting thing to watch in all of college football. Mm-hmm. We didn't watch Marcus create these things. Chip Kelly created a stage for him to be able to shine and do what he did.
So I have a question for you. When I read the top 10 again, you've got Baker, Cam Newton, Vince Young, Tim Tebow, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Marcus Mariota, Robert Griffin III. Is there one in there that doesn't make sense to you?
Baker.
Well, and Kyler Murray, kind of.
When I was going, okay, tell me your logic, and I wanted to point out the one that didn't make sense to me.
Because there was a stretch of Oklahoma quarterbacks at that time. I think it went Baker to Kyler to Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, correct.
And out of those three, at least college-wise, Kyler was probably the less impressive of the three.
I don't know. Kyler was fucking electrifying in
He was
college.
pretty dynamic.
But I don't know. I knew
Baker was the benefit of a really crappy draft.
I'm just saying, don't get blinded by the Kyler today. Forget Kyler NFL. Kyler in college was fucking insane.
Yeah, but do you think I think we're talking about upper echelon quarterback. Do you think he's top 10 ever?
I think Kyler's top 10.
Okay.
I don't think he should be. Where's he at?
He's like 7th, 8th, something like that.
Okay, lower than 6. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
The person that I thought was really weird on this list was Lamar Jackson. And the reason why I say that is that when you look at these guys up and down, the majority of them were top 10 picks, if not number 1 overall. Lamar Jackson went at the end of the first round. So it's interesting to talk about like how like amazing dynamic he was. I'm not taking away from his accolades. It's just like you're seeing all these like number 1 picks, and then you have Lamar Jackson's like, well, if he was so good in college, why did he get picked at the end of the first round? It feels kind of weird honestly, to me to see that he would be ranked in such a way.
That's more of a testament to how good he was in college. Because the thing that he didn't have going for him compared to everyone that you mentioned is he didn't have a good team.
Yeah, or like star power school, like Louisville isn't a football school.
No one here can name who Lamar Jackson played with.
Not a single
Not
one.
a running back, not a receiver, not even anyone on defense.
Or even who they played against.
And the fact that he was able to win just enough for him to win a Heisman and to do what he did in college is a testament to how fucking good he was by himself.
Yeah, because, I mean, I remember seeing those stat lines on the end of
They're video
Saturday,
game numbers.
And it was video game numbers. 7 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, or whatever. And I think to be able to do that and essentially will a team to any type of prominence solely by yourself in the game of football, I mean, you got to tip your hat to that.
An interesting one, too. And I could even make an argument to flip-flop 1 and 13. I hated this guy so much, but damn it if he wasn't an incredible college football player, was Johnny Football and Johnny Manziel. You could make a case that he was the best quarterback amongst all of these for what he did.
I agree.
Fucking hate that guy. But, he goes in, he beats Alabama. He is as feisty as Baker was. It was just all of those things. A Heisman winner, he's a number 1 overall pick. He was every one of those things. How is he not number 1?
I would put him ahead of Baker.
Yeah.
First of all, Baker at number 1 is just absurd.
It is, yeah.
I think really, to your point, Pete, I think it's between Vince Young, Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton. If you want to do any order, those 3 as the top 3, I think is a pretty agreeable top 3. There's not many people you're going to talk to that are going to be like, no way, you need to have Baker fucking Mayfield in there.
As much as I dislike Tebow, Johnny Manziel is not going over Tim Tebow.
You don't think so?
No, Tim Tebow was fucking college football when he played. Yeah. I don't think you put Johnny Football over him. I think having Cam, Vince Young, Tebow, and I can see Manziel in like top 7. Take Baker out of there and then drop that spot to 7 and give that to Johnny Football. Because I would argue, as much as I like Sam Bradford and Jason White, Kyler is probably the best Oklahoma quarterback that I've seen. In college, Kyler was unstoppable. But Baker, where the fuck's he come from? Baker, to me, was
electric. There's no doubt about it.
He was, but I've always viewed him as a wannabe Johnny Football. He wanted to be him so bad. He wanted to create controversy. He wanted to plant the flag and do all these things that would get people talking.
The D-Generation X suck it on the sidelines and all of that.
Bro, not buying it.
Get over it. I am kind of happy that there's not like recency bias with like Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. Tua's in 21. Kind of get up outside of the top 25. You've got like, Justin Fields up in there, Rex Grossman, Colin Kaepernick,
Justin Fields is in the top 5 Ohio State quarterbacks ever. The one recency thing that I would agree with is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow should be there. He's that good.
That was arguably the greatest college football team of all time. Yeah. Undefeated.
Yeah, in his career, he had 78 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, 13 rushing touchdowns. Tim Tebow, 57 rushing touchdowns. That's pretty wild. In addition to the 88.
Tebow.
Yeah, he was really frustrating.
I hated Tebow.
Yeah, I know, and he just killed you with kindness every step of the way.
That fake fucking varsity blues speech at halftime where all of his teammates are just like, dude, get this shit over with.
What do you guys think about Kellen Moore at number 14? You've got the Chris Peterson system. Was he just fulfilling the prophecy of Chris Peterson? He's thrown for almost 15,000 yards, 142 touchdowns.
Where's he
70% completion percentage, and he is at number 14, just behind Johnny Football.
He was good, but that's a little high.
A little high.
First of all, this list is already bogus if you have Baker at number 1.
Yeah.
But if you have Kellen Moore ahead of Leinart, that's also a little bogus to me.
Yeah, I can see why you would put Kellen in the top 25, because I think the factor of taking, again, a smaller team that's not in the competition very much and elevating them to a point, kind of just willing it all through your talent and hard work, like that does say something, because he was Boise State, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I can see why you would put him in the top 25, but I agree. Putting him ahead of a Matt Leinart is egregious.
Where is Carson Palmer?
Carson Palmer, he's in the top 25, I believe.
Him and Luck seem pretty
23.
low.
23.
Yeah. That's really low.
Behind Phillip Rivers, but ahead of Case Keenum.
Phillip Rivers?
Dak Prescott at 72. Does that seem like really low?
He wasn't that great at college.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Mississippi State. He wasn't that.
He had one good year.
Yeah, he wasn't that great.
Good old Timmy Chang.
I was about to say Timmy Chang broke a lot of fucking records.
Who the fuck is Timmy Chang?
He played for Hawaii.
He was passed for 17,000 yards.
Yeah. That dude was like, every play they had was just a Hail Mary. Timmy Chang was bombing it.
Yeah, he's like you playing Madden as a kid and just like immediately going for like the go route.
I think there were like four
verticals.
There were like 4 games in a row that Timmy Chang had 500 something yards passing.
I
so
love that.
good.
How did I miss this guy?
I mean, he was early 2000s, 2000 and 2000.
Timmy Chang was the shit.
Love that guy.
Oh goodness.
Good old Timmy Chang.
I think flipping 1 and 2, it's Cam and Vince Young. Everyone else can follow.
Yeah.
Cam Newton and Vince Young were the best 2 quarterbacks I've ever seen in college football.
I was so frustrated with Cam Newton for how good he was. And obviously he plays Oregon in the championship game, which then accentuates, all of that. But
what a great fucking game.
Dyer was down.
That's really the start of all the I guess it's not beef anymore, but the relationship between Bo Nix and I. It all started because of that game with Cam Newton. God damn it.
No, to see somebody like Cam, his size, move the way that he does is insane to watch. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just a bummer that he's a really shitty NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
What's the best college football game you've ever seen?
The best college football game?
Mine's easy. Nothing's even close to mine.
Live?
Yeah. Like it doesn't have to be in person.
I'm trying to remember what live would be. I mean, again,
doesn't have to be in person.
I'm not trying to flex, but I went to a lot of college football games.
We get it, name dropper. You had lunch with Jay-Z. Yeah, we get
I
it.
went to a lot of college football games. So
the best college football game I've ever seen was Rose Bowl 05.
Yeah, that
USC Texas. Nothing's gonna beat that game.
The Texas Tech Oklahoma Patrick Mahomes Baker Mayfield was a pretty fucking incredible
That was
game.
a good game.
Because it was like, 75-78 or something like that? Like multiple overtimes. They were literally just hucking the ball. Both of them had like 600 yards passing or something crazy.
I love that Iron Bowl call.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The Iron Bowl.
That's a good one. But that was just a good ending.
Yeah, well,
but that season,
that whole season,
the 2013 college football season, there's just so many crazy things that happened before the Iron Bowl, the Georgia Auburn game with the bounce where he couldn't
the
see
miracle
it.
at Jordan Hare.
Yeah. There's all kinds of shit that
Don't make me play
happened.
these again.
Yeah,
That's season one.
Don't do it.
Season 1 Pete is dialing.
We're running out of things.
Right now.
Season 1, I was like, I just want to play these clips again. I will refrain. Go back and listen. I think it was probably like season 1, episode 5.
Episode Peanuts.
Oh goodness!
That's all
But
I've got.
I started thinking about college football the other day, and I was like, oh,
I know.
I'm getting
There was a FanDuel Instagram today that just has a guy dancing, and he's like, only 100 more days before we can place an anytime touchdown parlay. And I got I started looking. I'm like, what do we got?
You got a little misty-eyed there. We've got just a few more of these before we take our little summer siesta. So
Before football starts.
Though. I know. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, then the once we come back, it'll be just a week or two till my wedding.
That's true.
Hot.
Do we just wait till after your wedding?
I don't care.
Week 3 of NFL.
Probably not.
I know. What are we gonna do that week? Anyway, we'll figure that. That's future us. We'll figure that.
We'll record at the venue.
I'll be free on the Tuesday night following.
Okay, sure. You actually will.
Mm-hmm. We're not going to the coast until that weekend, like Thursday night.
No time off. This is how dedicated we are.
I'm taking time off.
No, not from the podcast though.
Oh. I mean, I'm just gonna be at home.
I suppose
We'll record at LA Hills. Reserve the poker room.
we have.
Well, I guess
He couldn't.
Yeah, all right. Call it.
Clear eyes.
Board.
Can't lose.
Jesus.
Auburn's gonna win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back.
back.
109 yards. They're not gonna keep him off the field tonight. Holy
God! Holy cow!
Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Bunch of fat guys on the field.
Oh my God!
Bunch of fat guys on the field.